sleeper cells, which has now been censored by YouTube. And I just did a video, second part, of the Great American Deception, called the American Dream. Both these videos are excellent videos, and I would ask that you check them out. As many of you know, some may not know, I was been away for a couple months, visiting a friend, teacher, mentor in North Carolina, which is why I haven't done any streams of late. And, so I'm going to cover a few things from a couple of those videos, plus a few things. But tonight, I'm waiting a few to see if anybody jumps in, give people a chance. I know a couple of the links I sent out, I said 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but it's been fun. I mean, as much fun as one could have, considering the world we live in today. But then again, I've always said it's what we make of it. If we choose to allow things to get to us or affect us, then it will, for the most part. But each of us, make our own decisions in life, just like we choose how we view things, see things. And how we choose to have our opinions. And, when I do Ramblings of the Chaotic Mind, I want everybody to know they're just that. Things I say are my own opinions and views. Some may share them, some may not. That's the beauty of the, supposedly living the American dream. Of course, if you're living the American dream and you believe you're living the American dream, well, you're just living in slavery. Because that's what the American dream seems to stand for. The whole idea of the American dream. Now, instead of stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home parent, both parents have to work, and you have to be in debt in order to have credit. Funny how that works. What is it? Debt is a form of slavery. It's indenturitude. Is it not? So, I grew up, I was taught, put your money in the bank savings account, let it grow interest so you can make some money, have a checking account, get a couple loans to establish your credit. But what they don't tell you is that your credit drops off after 7 years. So if you don't get no more loans after your last loan, 7 year passes, you end up having no credit. I don't believe in credit cards, so I don't own none, so I have no credit built from credit cards. What is a credit card? It's just that credit that you have to pay back with interest. So therefore, once again, indebted to a system. The idea of the American dream, simple. Equality for everyone. Watching our children grow up, go to college, have better success than we did, being able to retirement, backyard barbecues during the summer with friends, neighbors, family. Nowadays, we don't have the money. Or we're working so many hours, 2 jobs, just to try to make sure we have enough to put food on our table and pay the bills with nothing left over. Savings account, what's that? You don't get interest on savings accounts. In fact, now most banks, you're paying them to hold your money. So whatever interest that you're supposed to be gaining goes right back to them. So if you have 2 accounts, you got to pay them for 2 accounts. You're getting the picture here, guys. It's a debt system. It's a system to keep you enslaved so you don't get ahead. Well, as I stated I'm not going to cover too much of it because I want you guys to watch the video, The Great Deception, The American Dream. But think about it. Where's your freedom? Where's your freedom of speech? I speak about truth, and I get my stuff censored, demonetized, which normally when you ask to have it reviewed, takes usually hear back in less than 12 hours on one video. Haven't heard nothing, still pending review. You know, I make it a point to try to support other people, whether by sharing their YouTube channels, Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, you know, because that's what we're supposed to do as a community, share, help our community strive. Regardless if you always believe or not believe with the person's saying, because we're not always going to agree with each other. But the point is, we still should be supporting those, especially the ones that we know are speaking the truth. Let's get back to the concept of the American dream being. I covered a point in there about how, for real, we're all slaves. We're slaves to the system. You know, they say that freedom, we don't deal with kings, queens, monarchies. Social classes shouldn't matter, but social classes does. The poor keeps getting poor. The middle class has been cut in half to where the poor outreach the middle class, and the rich keep getting richer, and the elites keep pulling the stunts that they pull every day. Look at our world around us. We see a country divided. Why? It's what they want. They want us divided. Why? Because that's their control. They pit us against each other with religion, with politics, all these things. And isn't nothing more than a piece of paper right now. A fantasy. When our politicians make laws that protect them, but if we break those laws, those protections don't protect us, we go to prison or jail. You know, like I said, slaves to the master. We don't have freedoms. Our freedoms is what they say it is, which isn't freedom, it's slavery. You know, the other thing I've seen today that just irked me, really irked me, New Orleans. You know, since we're on the subject of slavery, and everybody's a goddamn slave, so, you know, the little racism thing, no, we're all slaves. And as far as racism goes, anybody know what the Civil War was about? It was nothing about slavery, it was about taxation, without representation. Had the governor of New Orleans priding himself of removing the statue of General Lee, Robert E. Lee. You know, don't care what your views and opinions are on the subject, you know, everybody's got theirs. My point is they're defacing history. 20 years from now, our kids will fully believe that the Civil War was about slavery and racism, not what it truly was about. Because it will no longer be in the history book, just like under Common Core, the Boston Tea Party is no longer in the history book or anything that brings a blemish on what our so-called government and politicians want us to believe is kosher. The fact is, without our history, our country wouldn't be what it is today. We wouldn't have a fantasy idea of the American dream. But what really irked me was a video they showed. I'm not going to share it because I'm having enough trouble with copyright and censorship and stuff. But just type it in New Orleans, I'm sure, YouTube, because one of the top videos that shows about it. 17 minutes long, but I only want the first couple minutes of it because the first couple minutes proves a point. Most of us, any person that goes to rob a bank, commits a crime, what do? They cover their face. They wear a mask. So, when you go to remove a statue, the people removing the statue are in, basically, bulletproof vests, wearing masks to cover their faces. I mean, to me, that just screams, hey, you're doing something illegal. You're a criminal. You know you're doing something wrong. You know, 2 weeks ago, the Black Confederate Caucus, 500 strong, showed up in front of the statue, protesting and even saying that the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery. It was about taxation. I want to read a quote from Abraham Lincoln. Let me pull it up here real quick. I think it's important. Because I don't hear nobody crying to take down the Lincoln statue and the Lincoln Memorial in D.C. Because we got to remember that Abraham Lincoln was kind of flip-floppy about slavery. I would say, as a policy I seem to be pursuing, as you say, I have not meant to leave. I would save the Union. I would save it the shortest way under the Constitution. The sooner the national authority can be restored, the nearer the Union will be, the Union as it was. If there be those who would not save the Union unless they could at the same time save slavery, I do not agree with them. If there be those who would not save the Union unless they could at the same time destroy slavery, I would not agree with them. My paramount object in this struggle is to save the Union, and is not either to save or destroy slavery. If you could save the Union without freeing any slaves, I would do it. And if I could save it by freeing all the slaves, I would do it. If I could save it by freeing some and leaving others alone, I would also do that. I would do about slavery and the colored race. I do because I believe it helps to save the Union. And what I forbear because I do not believe it would help to save the Union. I shall do less whenever I shall believe what I am doing hurts the cause, and I shall do more whenever I shall believe doing more will help the cause. I shall try to correct errors when shown to be errors. I shall adopt new views so fast as they shall appear to be true views. I have here stated my purpose according to my view of official duty and intended no modifications of my oft-expressed personal wish that all men could be free. All Lincoln ever cared about was the Union. Did not care about slavery. Had nothing to do with slavery to begin with. Even in his own words, if he could have done it, he would have not freed a single slave. And let's remind people, even back in that day, slavery did not just consist of African Americans. There were white people in slavery, Asians in slavery, Mexicans in slavery. To this day, every American is a slave. Let's be real. They want you in debt. They don't want the poor to become middle class. They don't want the middle class to become rich. You are a slave to a system of lies and deceptions. And to justify destroying history, I don't care what form it is. History is there for a reason. It is to be a reason for it. So we do not repeat the same mistakes. When you start taking away that history, you start rewriting it to say what you want it to say. Now it seems like to me most people just want to get caught up in the psychological warfare that's going on that's meant to keep us divided. Probably even meant to cause another civil war. Why? What is war? War, in a sense, if it's a civil or a world war, generates money. It's a money machine, just like prisons are a money machine. It's the reason why the system is a revolving door. It keeps you in. Very few percentage can ever get out of it. And we're going to discuss a little bit more on that too, because it seems nobody wants to share stories around here or videos unless you're certain cliques and groups. But yeah, they claim to be truthers. Well, if you're truthers, when people bring you the truth, you report the truth. But that's the way society has taught us. It's taught us to be divided against each other. Person's an ex-felon. Oh, he's always an ex-felon. Can't see past his past, even though he's become a role model citizen. Changed his ways, truly changed, but he's always viewed by his past. So therefore, anything that comes out of his mouth cannot be true. It's a lie. It's a scam. It's a gimmick. That's how we're taught to view things. Just like religion. Religion is nothing more than a means to control the masses. Keep you enslaved, indebted to fear. So through fear, they control you. I don't got nothing against faith. I have something against religion. Just because what religion means. People, oh, I'm Christian, you're a heathen, you're a pagan, you're a heretic. Well, yeah, I'm a pagan, heathen, and heretic. You know what it means? The Catholic Church dubbed those titles. You know what it meant? Free thinker. I am a free thinker. Free thinkers oppose religion. Why? Because they oppose control. They oppose slavery. They oppose deception. They see it for what it is. I should be able to carry on a peaceful conversation, philosophical conversation with any religious group, sitting at a table, and we should be able to learn from each other. But no, we're taught because that person's belief is different from ours, they're our enemy, they're an infidel, or they're the devil, they're a Satan worshiper. In the end, nobody's going to know who's right or wrong until you die. So why argue about it? Why let it be a division? I mean, think about it. We're not supposed to be divided. Aren't we supposed to love one another? Guess not. There's so much truth and knowledge out there and wisdom to be found if we just be free thinkers. Listen. Hear a person out. Think about what they're saying. Think about what we've been taught. Then listen to that inner voice inside us. And it'll guide us to the truth. There's no excuse for this division we're seeing. Politics is another form of division. It's meant to keep us divided. But right now the biggest one seems to be racism. They keep pushing it down our throats. Our forefathers would be ashamed of the way this country has become. Why? Because it is not the America that they envisioned. It's not the American that they fought, bled, died for. We are living a lie, a deception. But we're too busy arguing amongst ourselves to even see the truth. We're too busy working 2 jobs to make a living to make sure our kids have food on the table so we can eat. People want to scream about raising the minimum wage. What a joke. Because, sure, let's raise the minimum wage to $18. Okay, now what the corporate sector, what they're going to do, they're going to raise to match the raise of the minimum wage. So therefore, guess what? You're not making any extra money. You're still paying the same damn price for the same damn gallon of jug, except for it's $7 now instead of 3 something. They just match the price. There's no legislation or laws to restrict that. You can never have an increase in minimum wage and make money and create jobs until you regulate the corporate sector. Which means it's time that maybe we put the corporate sector, if you're here in the United States, you're to abide by our laws. Our laws is the Constitution. It's not a piece of paper. Neither is the Bill of Rights. They should be made to adhere to it, abide by it, and therefore be treated to that. If you want your company here in the United States, it's our laws. And dream. All of us come from immigrants. By the way, unless you're Native American, you're not native to this land. Immigration people bitch, putting a wall and deporting people. Well, guess what? There are laws. It used to be worse. You used to come in over by boat and set in New York for 30 days or until you were cleared medically and your papers were cleared. And it was more like setting in a jail. Go watch some of the historical documents on that. There's always been laws in place. You don't come into this country and become an instant citizen. You've got to go through the process. Yes, I've got issues with the process too. It's hard. It should be made a little bit easier for people that truly want to come here. They want to get away from the oppression, dictatorships that they may be in. Come here in pursuit of what they believe is the American dream, which is equality, happiness, success, a better way of life. But instead what you get is, basically, you get money. Instead of getting success, you're just getting deeper in debt. You become slaves to a system that don't care about you, only care about their own pockets and how much they make off you. You are slave labor. Like I said, there's so much crap going on out there. It's just like our government, they're too busy worried about Trump did what, he did this, Comey's got what, instead of doing their job. Passing laws, getting things straight, so we bring our jobs back. We protect our borders. No Supreme Justice has a right, no court out there has a right, federal court or not, has a right to interfere in national security. Think about that one. It is a national security. And truthfully, states like California, Chicago, if they want to tell their police departments not to enforce it, well, the first one that doesn't enforce it should be just like Texas passed a law. If you do not enforce the law, you will be arrested. You committed a crime. You violated federal law. Same thing should be held accountable for the governors and mayors of these states that go against this and tell their police department not to cooperate. Because we do have an issue with our borders. Anybody, it's been shown, many people, shows how easy it is to cross back and forth the border. We need some form of protection. Just like, you know, another thing that's irked me here lately, seeing LGBT groups supporting Islam. That's Sharia law. Why would you support something that, you know what, better yet, for all you LGBT community, not all of you, just the ones that believe and support Islam and Sharia law and the immigration thing, go over the Middle East and be open like you can be in this country and then like in Canada. See what happens. Or better yet, you just need a one-way ticket because you ain't coming back. Well, you'll come back in a body bag. Because what they're going to do, as soon as you do an open act like that, they're going to throw you off a building, stone you, or behead you. Penalty for homosexuality is death. That is completely against what our Constitution, what our idea of the American dream is. Every country should not tolerate this. I heard somebody say today, I'm not going to name names because I'm just not in the mood. But they bring up a very good point. I can't argue this. We need, as a country, every country needs to stop allowing, okay, this is how you're going to run your country, fine, but you're not going to have a corporation inside our country. You're not going to have a business inside our country while you support these ideas of hate, oppression, the denying of equality. That would put a quick end to some of these countries that support these ideas. These very fundamental ideas that they've committed genocide against their own people, to where it's become basically the peaceful form of Islam. It no longer exists. And there was a peaceful form of Islam, as I expressed in the New Faces of Sleeper Cells videos, which I'm ashamed to say it's gotten really no views. Because there is a new face to terrorism. There's been since 9/11. They could be your neighbor and you not even know it. I would suggest you guys check out that video. I'm not going to get into it. Mainly because there's more videos to come on that series from other people. These are from eyewitness testimonies that watched this stuff play out over the years since 9/11. It is shocking, scary. Part of me thinks maybe we've seen some of this happen already. Some of these new radicalized, indoctrinated Americans is what they are. And they're just not. They're white, black, Asian, Mexican, recruited and trained within the prison system. Now out in the world doing who knows what. How many of these members are part of Black Lives Matter and all these different activist groups that have been out there protesting? It's a good way to blend in. It's good ways to cause chaos. It's it's a good strategy. But most people are blind to the fact that this is even taking place. Even if such a notion of a sleeper cell exists. Most people think when you say sleeper cells, they think of 50s with the Cold War era. Well, we have another one that's even darker and worse right here in our own countries, in our own backyards. And most people are oblivious to it. Like I said, ramblings of a chaotic mind. Opinions, these are my views. And the things I see in the world today. Sometimes taking a break, a little mini vacation helps. It opens up the eyes, allows you to see a little bit clearer because you're taking, especially if you go up where you don't really have access to internet, patchy cell phone service. You get to appreciate the things. You get to watch it from a different perspective, a different way of life. Especially when you go south, it's a different way. I mean, I'm a Yank, but I love the Southern hospitality. It's different. You break down in the middle of the road, probably before you even get out the car, you're going to have somebody stopping, asking if you need help. I tell you what, that don't happen here in Ohio. You best be calling a tow truck or start walking because it's just not like that. Go into the store, hey, hon, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. It's just different. It's always been. Even since the 90s, I remember. That's what I fell in love with it about. Even in Tennessee. With that Southern hospitality. It's up north, you don't see it. Somebody, they wave. Which kind of makes driving in the mountains a little difficult, but hey. But as soon as you hit Ohio, it's like, wow, no one waves. Whole complete different attitude. But stepping away like that allows you to see things differently, clearer. Gives you a break from all the propaganda, brainwashing, psychological warfare that goes on every day. Which is a shame. I've covered a lot of things on psychological warfare, but I've done it on another channel because as I've come to find, I've had to separate my channels because people can't look past a person's faith. Like I said, it's just another tool they've used against you for centuries to keep a division, keep you guys. You don't hear truth. So when a person like that speaks up, oh no, he's not a Christian. He's evil. No, I'm very faithful. I'm very spiritual, but I am not a Christian. I am not a person that's gonna hold fast to a system. That's what it is. Religion is a system to control you. Like I said, take the root meanings, look it up, do your history, do your research on what heathen, heretic, and pagan mean. They mean free thinkers. Which opposed the church, which was the Catholic Church. You know, just like I don't hear mainstream media talking about all these pedophiles that have been busted, the sex trafficking rings that have been busted. None of this was happening until Trump took office, whether you like him or hate him. He's our president. And gotta give him props. In 120 days in office, he's done more than any president to date. I don't agree with everything he's done. I'm not supposed to. But when they do stuff right, give them their props. So other people say, okay, he is doing his job. Everybody's screaming, oh, impeach him, investigate him. I don't see you investigating Hillary Clinton, just like I don't see you taking Abraham Lincoln's statue down at the memorial. I don't hear you guys crying about that. Man, like I said, seems to be a lot of hypocritical things going on. Certain members of the LGBT community, all for Islam. What the hell? They kill you for being homosexual. I mean, duh. And trust me, you can Google it. Don't even have to Google it. Go to YouTube. Type it in. You'll find videos of this. But yet they want to censor my shit for bringing you eyewitness testimony truth. Then they want to cut my stream Let's say my computer went to sleep while the whole time I'm watching my stream from Hangout saying I'm live. Funny how things work. So yeah, this rambling of a chaotic mind seems to be a little bit going everywhere, but yet still tied in. I seem to be pretty good at that, even though my mind's very chaotic. Consider it thinks on 1,000 things at once, always. Look at the world we live in, and I am ashamed. I'm ashamed to even call myself an American. I remember back in the 80s and 90s, you used to be proud to be an American. It meant something. It meant the American dream, which was still a lie back then. Back when they took the Pledge of Allegiance out of the schools, started rewriting our history, brought in Common Core, took prayer out of the schools. Totally. I mean, I did say I wasn't religious and I wasn't Christian, but those things are important because we're supposed to be equal. We're supposed to have freedom of religion. We all should be able to worship whoever we want, where we want, when we want, and not worry about being persecuted. That's why we came to this country in the first place. That's why the Revolutionary War was fought. And his friend some will say that's why the Civil War was fought, even though it wasn't. It was fought. The only thing, as I even read Lincoln's letter to you, it was about taxation without representation. The South was not going to pay the taxes. So to save the Union, what did Lincoln do? He gave the slaves a chance for freedom, offered them freedom. Why? So we could outwork, outproduce, and that's what won the Civil War. We just outworked them. We outproduced them. We did the same thing in World War II. As soon as it happened, the biggest boom in industry, women that weren't signing up to go overseas as nurses were in the factories making ammo, making our war machines. Those who weren't enlisted were doing the same. Jobs were plenty. So was the bankroll that the rich took in, because you didn't see a single rich senator's son or daughter going to war. War is only for one thing. Increase your coffers, gather resources, and population control. But yet, hey, we don't talk about these things in history no more because it's a blemish on the idea of America, what America is and stands for. What America is and stands for is our Constitution, Bill of Rights. History, Civil War, those monuments of those Confederate generals. I dare any of you to go ask the Confederate Black Caucus, Black African American men and women, 500 strong. Ask them their opinion what the Civil War was. It was about taxes, not slavery. Because they recognized that slavery was a part of every race put into slavery. We're slaves to this day, as I stated, in debt, indentured to debt. We have to be in debt in order to have credit. Can't get credit or a loan if you're not in debt. Double mortgage on your house. Oh, that puts you farther in debt. Even though I put my house up for mortgage or for collateral, I'm paid for it. But nowadays, that don't even mean nothing. There's no value. Why? The housing industry's bottomed out. I mean, I don't see hardly any new houses going up. But I see tons of old houses that have been sitting for years and starting to be taken down and condemned. Because they got foreclosed on. Or because nobody can afford to buy anything because we can barely afford to put food on our table. Wow, it seems like I'm just going back over what I went through on the American Dream. Kind of, sort of. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I do know because I did it. If you guys don't, you didn't watch it. Which is, let's keep it real, guys. How many of you guys are actually going to share this video? Like it. Any of the videos I've posted. How many people of you are going to subscribe to this channel? That's what I go. It's all about supporting the community. But the community keeps being divided amongst themselves because of what our faiths are, or what we may believe. You know, we're not supporting our communities. And we're just adding to the problem. We're just continuing to allow ourselves to be divided, pitted against each other. You know, I hear people call people sheeple. Well, guess what? Yeah, even if you want to use the word, you're probably one too, because I've seen you. I've watched you. Shit comes out of your mouth. You call people sheeple, but at the same time, you'll bash somebody or not even talk to them because of their choices in faith or religion or politics. See the brainwashing and mind control that's going on here, guys? In our own country. Now I try to keep up to date with things that's going on in Brazil because my mom's from there. Now, I got family down there. I mean, it's chaos down there. It's chaos in every country. It's like that was the agenda to cause so much division, so much chaos. Dare I say it? Is this what they really wanted? To maybe push for a new world order? A one world government? A one world currency? Let's look at Bitcoin. Everybody's talking about Bitcoin now. I mean, is Bitcoin the future of the one world currency? Think outside the box. You got to question things. Always question things. Question the things I say. If you're questioning, you're thinking. Question your own religion. What makes it different from any other religion out there that practices hate and teaches hate? I've sat there and listened to Baptist preachers just preach fire and brimstone against Catholics. But yet they forget one thing. Christianity was only Catholicism and Judaism, which was a Jewish form, and Islam. Even to this day, if you look up in your Webster Dictionary or encyclopedia the definition of religion, there's only 3 labeled. Every branch of Christianity that we see today came from the separation between the Catholic Church. Most of us moved to America. Why? Fleeing persecution of religion. Fleeing the persecution of the Catholic Church. Because why? We were all heretics, heathens, pagans. Because we chose to separate ourselves. At one point, our forefathers seen through the lies, the deceptions. They seen what that religion was about. There's nothing wrong with having faith, guys. Faith is very important. I believe that. Until it starts preaching hate, causing division and fear. Now, you can sit here every day of the week, watch each of the news channels. It's just propaganda. It's their side. They're not, they don't talk about the accomplishments. They don't talk about the real things that are going on, the important issues. It's supposed to be we, the people. It's supposed to be us. The politicians we elect, they're supposed to represent us, not them and how much money they're going to put in their pockets. What laws they're going to make to protect themselves, but not us. There's a reason why prisons are there's so many of them here in the United States. The United States is top 3 in the world of prisons because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Once you get in the system, you very seldom get out. It's got to the point you don't even have to do anything. I mean, you guys just don't get it. And you don't want to hear about it. Because to you, the person that did that, they deserved it. And they'll never change. That's because the system's designed not to change. They've removed the education system out of the prisons. They've removed the work programs, the vocational programs to teach them so they can go out and become a better person so they come back in. So now the only thing you learn inside the prison system is how to become a better criminal. No longer got access to education, GED. So therefore, the only time a person changes is when reality sets in and they realize this is not the way they want to live their life. They're still going to, the odds are still stacked against them. That no matter how much they want to do good and become a role model citizen, the cards are stacked against them. Any little thing could get you sent back. Not getting a job when there's no jobs to be found because most places won't hire convicts. Why? Because that's the mentality that everybody's been taught. So no, there's no such thing as an American dream. It is a fantasy, a fallacy. Our political system's a joke. You know, it used to be our votes, everybody's votes matter. Well, guess what? Your votes don't matter. Why? Because it's electoral college. So, even though I might have voted for somebody else, because this person won, my vote went to him, and I didn't vote for him. Why? Because that 1 point or 2 points, whatever point it is for that county, goes to the winner. So therefore, your vote never counted. Especially if you're in a county that's small. Yet again, another fallacy, another deception. You know, so yeah, we are slaves to a system. We are slaves to the rich and elite. We're slaves to the government. Guys, what is democracy? Democracy. What is a republic? Oh, Rome had a republic at once. It fell. They had a senate. It was just as corrupt. We have a president. Isn't a president no different than a king or queen? Mm. Isn't Congress, the House, the Senate, the legislation branches, the federal branches, aren't they just nobility and we the peasants? Where's the equality? You know, at some point in time, guys, we got to stop and think about everything. We got to question everything. I can't tell you how to get from point A to point B, honestly. I can't tell you what we got to do to make things change, to make it so that our Constitution isn't just a piece of paper that you can wipe your ass with. That's the way our politicians believe. Our Supreme Court's proved that by saying that corporate American can donate as much money to any politician they want because they are not American. They're not an American citizen. I say bullshit. I say any corporate sector that has a business here in the United States are bound by our laws and therefore bound by our Constitution and our Bill of Rights. You know, many of you won't even think about that because you can't see past your own political views. You shouldn't have a political side. There shouldn't be a political factor. You should be about putting the right person that's going to uphold your ideas, your beliefs. We the people. They're supposed to represent us, not them. Those that might be watching, you guys want to comment, feel free. Chat's open. I'm watching it. I'll answer your questions. Really don't got nothing planned for tonight. Trust me, I can ramble on for a while. I mean, let's look at our education system, our college system. It's so damn expensive now that, even our parents working 2 jobs, trying to put food on the table, can't save up for us. And we're having a hard time finding jobs. I mean, the younger ones, 16-year-olds, that want to save up for college, they're having a hard time finding jobs. Why? Because the retirement folks just found out, hey, the cost of living, they can't afford it on retirement. They're being forced to get in part-time jobs, taking up the jobs that normally school kids would get. Yet again, another deception of the American dream. Let's get off on something else. Let's get off on education. I know. You said I'm going to say I just covered that. No. Old school education. Old skills, old tools. Reading books. Not relying on electronics. Let's do say, we get a solar flare and knocks everything out. Probabilities, probably low. But there is a reason why they like preppers. Because we should be prepared for anything. Can't be prepared for everything, but if we're prepared, at least in a sense, for some things, hey, we know how to handle the situations. How many people know how to use old tools? How many know how to make the old tools? You can make a lathe just out of some twine and make a paddle that you put your foot on, like the old school, I don't know how many of you ever seen them, the old school sewing machines. You make a drill press out of it. We shouldn't be learning those things. We shouldn't be allowing technology to rely always on technology. We should be relying on these skills, labor skills, old skills, skills that aren't being taught anymore. Because someday you may need that. You might be without power for a couple of days. You had a storm. Well, how can I get some power? Well, generator, yeah. Well, what if you can't get a generator? Well, there's solar. Can you set up a solar panel real quick? It's not that hard. There's plenty of do-it-yourself. YouTube, that's another thing, guys. There's so much YouTube you can teach yourself to do about anything. So technology is good. It's relying all the time. Hey, power goes out. We can't access our devices, or we can't charge our cell phones, so we can't access the stuff we have stored there. These are important things. I was a big supporter of the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts. Still am to this day. Why? Because it teaches our kids those skills. The skills that most of us don't even use anymore or know how to do. No, I'm not against tech at all. But at the same point, I also understand the value of the old skills, the old ways of doing things. Being able to build a shelter from just what you got laying around, using the wood. Being able to make your own stuff, saws. Being able to use a running stream to produce energy. And things to know. A lot of our vocational programs, I remember vocational schools, they've been defunded. And vocational, they teach you trade skills, trade things. You know, people always said, well, you gotta have a high school diploma and a college education to get a job. But yet I've watched people that could barely read and write do a job better than a person that went to college for it. It's a myth. It's another fallacy. Education is great, guys. Nothing wrong with it. But you still need the hands-on. You still got to do it. Because a person that can do it better than a person that went to college for it, that can barely read and write, tells you something. Yes, there are vocational trades out there where you do need an education. Be a doctor. Really, you don't need an education to be a lawyer. You just need to be able to read law and understand that it's a two-edged sword. It is how a person interprets it and how I sell it to a jury and make the jury believe my interpretation of that law. Like I said, two-edged sword. But we also, let's talk about the legal system for a little bit. But somebody said, well, was bitching they defunded public lawyers. Well, good. You know what we call them? Public pretenders. They only get paid $500 per case. They don't care about, most of them don't care about the person they're defending. Because they don't want to be there. They want that rich client that's going to pay them thousands of dollars for their time. So they're going to hurry up and get through that because they have to do so many beginning when they first start out as a public service. So that's why we have a lot of people in prison that probably shouldn't be, that we're actually innocent. You know, I'm not saying every prisoner is innocent, because they're not. There's people that deserve to be in prison, and they probably deserve to be there for the rest of their life. But there's people in there that don't. And we also got to remember there's people that do change. Got to stop judging people by their past. Judge them by the person they are now. Because their past is important. It's what made them who they are today. The lessons they had to learn, the mistakes they made. Everybody makes mistakes. Some greater than others. Some just because they're trying to put food on their table. Which goes back to my point. What I said about over in New Orleans. People wearing masks. The only time you wear a mask, you know you're doing something wrong, something illegal. New Orleans, you guys should be ashamed of your mayor, your governor, for defacing history. Louisiana has such rich history. But you make me not want to go visit your state no more. I always wanted to go to Louisiana, go to New Orleans. Not no more. Why? Because now you're trying to rewrite history. You know? And we've seen what happened. Did not Hitler do that? Just saying. He changed the education system, started burning books, removing historical sites. Oh, that's right. He was a racist. He was a monster. And he was. But when you start removing history, you're no better than him. When you start rewriting our history, taking stuff out of our history books, you're no better than what Hitler was. In fact, you're worse. We're supposed to learn from history and our mistakes and others' mistakes, not repeat them, which makes you worse. What else do we want to talk about? Anybody got any ideas, suggestions? I can keep going with what I got in my head. As you can see, it's in my head, just going all over the place. There's still some semblance of topics. You know, it's just like Trump going after changing the laws of the EPA and stuff. Yes, some of that stuff needs to be changed. We have natural resources right here. Don't get me wrong. We do need to protect our environment as well. But there's a point when things get too ridiculous. You know, somebody brought up a point because, you know, I was all, still am, I'm still for that pipeline incident going through native lands. Somebody brought up a point about Native Americans, which I should have known, but I didn't. Like I said, we're always learning stuff from people. Can't be judgmental all the time. Can't judge a person by their looks, by what they believe in. Because everybody has knowledge in areas that's important. He brought up a point how the Indians believed that they were not to leave any trace of where they walked upon the earth, upon the land. You know, because we was talking about Stonehenge, and he brought that up because, you know, we was also talking about the Dakota pipeline and stuff. And it is a good point, but it's also, you know, I kind of feel for the Indians on this because, you know, hey, we took their land. We forced them onto private land or government land, federal land, which in turn, we all know what that means. You don't own it. The federal government can say, oh, we need it, and just ship you somewhere else and give you someplace else. Now, I don't agree with what Trump did when it comes to the Dakota pipeline, because as we've seen, wow, they've just had major spills, and the pipeline's not even built, finished yet through there. Goes to prove they were right. But at the same time, we do need those natural resources. We got to find ways we're going to use our natural resources to also protect the land. But we can't be so strict to where you shut these places down. You put coal miners out of work because you want new laws passed to protect the environment. Yes, there should be laws. And these companies should be accountable for any pollutions or spills that they make. They also should be responsible to clean it up and come up with better safety measures. There's where the laws need to be changed. Laws need to be implemented to make it so it's a cleaner environment. At the same time, not hindering the operations. You want to put money into something, put it into that, not into shutting everything down, putting people out of work. We need to get our steel mills going back up so we're not dependent on China steel. You know, we got huge infrastructure problems that need attention. But yet, you know, everybody's too busy trying to go after the president for something he may have done or may not have done, instead of focusing on their real jobs. That's we, the people, and getting our infrastructure and getting our jobs back, and representing us and representing what the American dream is supposed to be about. Not about their own pockets. We need to ban lobbyists, period. You get caught even talking to a lobbyist, you should be removed from office because you just violated your office of trust. Why? Because when you're dealing with a lobbyist, you're not dealing with we, the people. You're dealing with a corporate entity. Even to this day, I say, there's several members on the Supreme Court that violated their office of trust that should be removed. Oh, wait, you're going to say, oh, they can't be fired or removed. Oh, yes, they can. If they violate the office of trust, they can be removed. That is the only way a Supreme Court justice can be removed. And they did when they said corporate America isn't an individual. Therefore, it is not subject to the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. That's how they passed Obamacare, even though the Supreme Court Justice said there were things in it that was unconstitutional. But it was a tax, therefore it was part of the corporation, therefore it wasn't affected by the Constitution, therefore they had no right to rule on it, even though they did find things unconstitutional. I mean, that alone should have sent it right back to the House floor to be reworked. We need to, and that's something else we need to do. We need to put laws in effect that states you can only, the bill is about, that's the only thing it can be in it. No sliding anything else in it. The bill doesn't need to be over 100 pages. Common sense, guys. But wait, they want to put so much into these bills, make it so thick so you can't sit there and read through it in 15, 20 minutes. Something that's going to take you 2-3 months to read through because it's 1,000 pages, and half the stuff in it has nothing to do with the bill that they're actually proposing. It's just stuff they want to get passed, so they put it in that bill. That needs to stop. We need to put laws in effect to stop that. No bill should be over 100 pages. I agree with a bunch of people on that. We need to start holding these politicians accountable. Need to invest. If you want to investigate the president, well, we should be investigating Hillary. We should be investigating McCain. In fact, we should be investigating most of the Congress and Senate. Congress. House and Senate included. Many of them are still in office that got caught getting information on market stuff, or what was it? Can't remember what it was. It was insider trading. That's what it was. Boiled right down to it. And they had a junior congressman, bring a bill, and they ran him up out of there. Then shortly after, they all got caught for having this insider trading. But guess what? If one of us had insider trading like that, we'd be doing federal time in a prison. 10 years. Not more. Not a single one of these congressmen ever faced charges. They violated the office of trust. They all should be out of office. Every last one of them. You know, I mean, sometimes, guys, common sense, we just seem to forget it. Maybe that's what people need to go. I'm sure you can find it on ebook somewhere. I know you can find it on the internet anywhere. Just type in common sense. Read it again. Because we seem to be lacking common sense. Because common sense would dictate that half the shit we're dealing with today is bullshit. It's a lie. It's fabricated. We're being controlled. We're nothing more than slaves. We're cattle before the slaughter, whatever you want to call it. And we're all worst enemies because we believe it. You can see that how divided are we? Our political views divide us. Our religious views divide us. Our ideas on education divide us. Some people are for Common Core. Some people are for transgender bathrooms. You got me there. If you want to sit down and piss, go have a sex change. Have the whole operation. Then you can use the female bathroom if you're a man, because then you'll be a woman. But bottom line is, I don't care what gender you are. You can't change your DNA. Your DNA dictates what you are, male or female. Can't argue the science in that. But I respect it. If you want to be that, why? That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to respect each other. You know, we're not supposed to hate you because you're transgender or you're homosexual. A lot of good, close homosexual friends. I'm not homosexual. I still have friends, but yet that makes me bad. That makes me evil because I support them. Because I support LGBT communities. Some communities now. But there seems to be a group out there that believe that we should have Sharia law. We should allow these radical idealists, Muslims, whatever you want to call them, into our country that don't respect them, and that if you was in their country, that's the bottom line. You know, yeah, for all of you that bitch, cry, complain about this, go live in another country. Go live in Saudi Arabia. Go live in the Middle East. Go live in Iran, China, Russia. See how long you last. You might last if you have some of the ideals, but don't be something that goes against their views. You'll find yourself prison, dead, missing, disappeared, swimming with the fishes, you name it. Might wake up with a horse's head in your bed. Steal something from the Godfather, you know, hey. I mean, we get caught up in so much. We allow so much to just dictate things that should have no importance, things that we should be standing up against instead of for. We've gotten that brain loss. We've lost common sense. We've lost reality. I mean, I would say the best education system right now is homeschool, but they're trying to take that away from you. Make it even harder so you can't homeschool your kids. Why? Because if you're homeschooling your kids, guess what? One of your parents aren't working, so it's going against what they want. They're working two jobs. Both parents working, so they got more control of your kids. The state has more control of the kids than the parents do right now, and that's wrong. No, I think the ideal view of what American dream has become ain't no different than any of these third world countries right now. The only difference is people are believing a lie. Like I said, lack of common sense, forgotten what common sense is. And that's because, hey, you know, I've caught myself saying it, call them snowflake generation snowflakes, the millennial snowflakes, you know. Heard a bunch of people say it. And you know what? I've got to apologize. I'm wrong. It's not their fault. It's not the parents' fault either. The fault is our government, is the politicians we've elected in charge. It's the education system that we have now that make us work so many hours, sometimes 2 jobs, 3 jobs, both parents, so we can't interact in our children's lives. So therefore they're being taught, brainwashed, trained to be what they are today. It's not their fault. It's not the parents' fault. You know, like I said, history is a very important aspect of our lives. History is what defines what this country is supposed to be about, what the American dream is supposed to be about. Yeah, I know, I did a video on American Dream, and I'm rambling about it now. I'm rambling about a lot of things. But that's why I call this rambling of the chaotic mind. You know, just like, you know, the right to bear arms, everybody should have it. Whether you choose to or not is on you. But it's our constitutional right. We have the right to defend ourselves. You know, you ask leaders of many countries, you know why they never want to invade this United States? Because everybody's got a gun, which makes us dangerous. You know, if we've learned anything over just the wars we've had on our own soil, the Revolutionary War, Civil War, French and Indian War, you know what, those mountain men, take that hill is what you do. You're going to pay dearly. You know, take that community. Yeah, right. Go take that city. I tell you what, might be the one time we're thankful for gangs. Because they got so much arms. That's why no country wants to invade this country. We all got guns, or we have access to them. That's another thing. You know, learn self-defense, whether it be with guns, knives, or your hands. Be able to protect yourself and your family and the people you care about. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just bettering yourself. You know, learning to shoot a gun or shoot a bow or crossbow allows you to put food on your table during hunting seasons. You know, we got so many activists out there. Bad. No, hunting is not bad if it's used to put food on your table. I'm not on the sports side. Now, I sport fish. Saying that, though, I sport fish by catch and release. But there's times where I'll fish. Two fish to bring home to put food on the table because I like fish. Nothing's better than a fresh caught fish that's cooked. Or I bring fish home to go to people I know enjoy it. Take it to them. When I, catch, they gotta be decent size. It's just like any game you hunt. You don't want the big ones because the meat's gamey. You want, here in Ohio we say 14 or better. That's kind of game hunting, but, a 14-point buck or doe, roughly speaking, meat's still good, When you start getting above that, you're starting to get a little gamey, but hey, that's more meat you put on your table, just like people should start investing in gardens. But wait, hey, you've got states, counties and states that are passing laws that says you can't have rabbits and you can only have plant so much of the garden. No law should dictate what we can grow, what animals we can have, because that's putting food on our table. Oh wait, we're putting our own food on our table. We're not going and buying places. Oh wait, we're supporting our local butchery, or like Jacoby's here in Ohio. Oh, they got Jacoby's anywhere, who process game meat, or cattle, or pigs, or lambs, or sheep, whatever you bring to them, they'll do. Turkeys. You see what I'm saying, guys? We're supporting our own communities, I'm all about that. I'm supporting the artists. I've always been about that. Supporting the local mom and pop stores. Why? Because they're about the community. They're part of the community. Guys, I know you guys, people got junk and stuff. Some of that stuff's not junk. You can use it to barter with, trade for something that you need. There's plenty of websites out there. The truth is, there is still an American dream. Some people out there still live the idea of the American dream, what they believe it to be, within their communities. So there is hope. But it's not what the government tells us, not what the politicians tell us. It is, like I said, we need to get back to our old roots, our old skills, our old trades, supporting our own communities. I'm a big fan. Less government. Do we need all those politicians in government? Apparently not, because they're not about we the people. Even the ones that try to be, they eventually get corrupted or silenced or don't make it past junior. Maybe it's time we remove some of these old faces, re-elect new faces. And it's scary considering what the millennial generation has become. But also, you can't, they're also the innovators. They're the more techier people. Regardless, if you want to believe it or not, that is the future. Now, I think it's time we stop having all these old Supreme Court justices. Maybe it's time we put, like my dad says, do away with lifetime appointments. I also think there should be an age limit. We need younger Supreme Court justices, but they need to know the Constitution. They need to know the meaning of the Constitution, the laws, because that's what the Supreme Court's for, the Constitution. We need to get rid of some of these federal bureaus and agencies that are just names, and what do? I don't see them doing anything. There's a name, but they're getting a bunch of money. You know what we also need to do? Stop listening to mainstream media. And yet just tune it off. Turn it off. Start demanding the truth, not the fabricated lies. Start supporting the citizen journalists. Many out there. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to tell you who to go. Look for yourself. Follow that inner voice. You'll know which ones to watch. But don't be closed-minded either. Watch others. Listen to everyone's view and opinions. In the end, the only view and opinion that matters is your own. And what you believe. Isn't that the idea of what the American dream is supposed to be? Isn't that the idea of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, equality, liberty? The American way? I think so. I thought so. I'd like to believe it, even though I know right now it's not true. Hasn't been true for a very long time. Just sad it took me till my late 30s to realize that. It's sad that many of our kids are being taught that. Which makes me thankful I don't have kids. Because as a parent, how could I ever be there when I'm going to be forced to work? And if I'm married, my wife's going to have to work just so we can support our kids and put food on the table the way society has become. The way they made it. So that we're just nothing but invention. Need to be in debt in order to have credit. Oh, if you got credit, you got to stay in debt to keep the credit, or else it falls off after 7 years or so many years. Credit cards, it's another form of debt. We need to start waking up. Banks want to charge us to put our money in there. Quit doing business with the bank. Stop letting them monopolize our money. What do? They take our money that we put in savings and they loan it out to others. That's where our interest is supposed to be. How our money was supposed to grow interest. So we stop putting money in our banks. They have nothing to loan. It's time we start teaching people these truths, these lessons. Guys, life isn't easy, but life is what we make it. If we choose to be divided, we choose to be oppressed, we choose to be persecuted, if we choose to believe everything we hear on TV, then you've chosen to live a very unhappy life. A life where you're going to work 4 times as hard as our parents did. 10 times harder than their parents did. And their parents were supposedly the ones that believed in the American dream. White picket fences, backyard barbecue with the neighbors, going to Disney World, vacations. We got the money. We can afford it. Real education, putting our kids through college, watching them become successful. The American way. American baseball, apple pie. I drove my Chevy to the levee and the levee was dry. Bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast tonight. It was fun. Got to ramble. It's been a while. Got to talk about some things that I've been wanting to talk about. you guys enjoy it, like, share, please share, guys. Like I said, you want to support communities? You want to support people that are bringing you information, truth, trying to help you awaken? Share these videos, support these channels, subscribe. Don't judge them by what their faith and religions are. Judge them by the person and the information they're bringing to you. Judge them by the person they are, not by their past. Don't judge them by their political views. Listen, learn, be free thinkers. That's what you're supposed to be, free thinkers. And support everyone in these communities, and don't be afraid to step outside the box, because stepping outside the box is what's going to make you think. It's going to make you question, and it's good. Makes you feel alive. Feel free to leave your comments. I'll answer. I always do. You want to get a hold of me, you might want to join me on a live stream sometime or whatnot. You got something you want to share or want me to share for you? Links are in the description, guys. You want to donate? Feel free. You don't have to. It's there for those that wish, because in the end, it's about supporting our communities. It's also about supporting channels like this. You, the viewers, are what support these things. Just liking the video and sharing it is support. You're donating by just sharing. Wisdom, knowledge is power, guys. So, like I said, anything you need to know, need to get on me, links are in the description. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, WordPress, Gab. I'm all over the place, kind of. Check out some of my other channels. Like I said, I've got more than one. I try to keep some things separate, so I shouldn't have to, though. That's always been my biggest gripe. I wrote these podcasts all started from a magazine, and we covered everything. Christianity, pagan, artists, music, any genre out there. We tried to cover our magazine. We gave a place for people to come and share their ideas and views amongst open-minded people. And I wanted to do the same on the podcast until I did a couple of videos that were more occultic, and I lost subscribers because that's not what they wanted to hear, or what they were hearing they liked, but when I put one of them up, it was like, oh, taboo. It goes against everything. You're just a liar. You're a Satanist. No, I'm spiritual. I believe in faith. I believe everybody should have faith. I just don't believe in religion, because it's nothing more than control the masses. And it's a shame, because many of you missed out on some really good videos I did on psychological warfare and how to counter it and combat it. There's a reason why I've said within some of my communities, our tools have been used against us, and we allowed it. But yet we're not out there educating people how to defend it. I did something on memes. Your emotes, they're all psychological warfare. Think about it. You like a video, put a little heart or a smiley face. But in order to understand that, you have to understand sigil magic, chaos principles, cyber magic. These were these things derive. But yet, I start talking about it on this channel, people run. They can't blame them. That's what they were taught to do. They're not free thinkers. They claim to be, but they're not. If they were free thinkers, they would be all open for philosophy and debates like that. They wouldn't judge it because the person is just spiritual. It's not religious. You know, I respect everybody's views and beliefs and opinions. It's important to have them. I don't judge you by them. So don't judge me by them. You know, I don't know how often I'm going to do this. Like I said, I'm working on a couple series, so my mind is focused on those, especially the Sleeper Cells, continuing that one, and the Great American Deception, continuing that series. That we try to put one out on that series each month. I'm planning on doing like a total of 10 videos on that. You know, then I have KOTR's channel, which is all intents and purposes the occult channel. Since I have to keep things separate to appease everyone, which I'm about done doing. Why? If I'm doing that, I'm falling victim to everything I keep saying. It makes me a hypocrite. How about those apples for you? That's what you guys kind of make me when you force me to have two different channels because I can't cater to both all audiences. And we wondered why the world is the way it is today. We're coming up on Memorial Day, guys. I want to, first off, foremost, shout out to all of our vets. Thank you for all the service you've done, for defending our Constitution, for putting your lives on the line for us. Now, we might not agree on war and stuff like that, but I respect what you do. I respect what you stand for, and in my eyes, you're not a terrorist because you served our country. You did what you're supposed to. I don't care what the 9/11 Act says, what the NDAA bill says. You are heroes in my book. Same way the police officers, the firemen, EMTs. You guys are all heroes. So, to you guys, happy Memorial Day, and thank you for what you've done and do for us each and every day, putting your lives on the line. And thank you to all my subscribers for tuning in, putting up with my ramblings of the chaotic mind, and my just flamboyant openness to say what I want when I want. To me, this right here, what I'm doing, is part of the American dream, the real American dream. Not what they say it is. I'm not slave to no one. I still know how to hunt my own food, grow my own food. I know how to barter and how to build things. I even know tech. And what I don't know, and I think I might need to know it, I'll go learn it. YouTube is a grand thing. You can learn anything. Just gotta have the time to do it. Which, well, we're not going there. You know where that was gonna lead. Time. How can you have time in this day of age? But in case I don't do another video, live stream until after Memorial Day, I want to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day. Be safe. If you're gonna drink. Have a designated driver. Enjoy your time with your families. That's what it's about. And honoring those who've given their lives for us. For what we truly believe in the Constitution, and what we still hope and believe is an American dream. Because it's there. It's just not viewed the same way by everyone. It seems to have more than one definition now. guys, check out my other videos, especially the American Dream series, the Sleeper Cell series. There's one on minimum wage, guys. I've done quite a few videos. Check them out. You know. But I am going to take a break, get off here, and tune into maybe a couple live streams some of my people I follow are doing tonight. Like I said, I also like to support the community out there as much as possible. Even though tonight I'm not feeling like dropping names, just because, you know, it's quid pro quo. You know, don't call yourself a truther, but yet you discriminate against other people's religious beliefs or their politics. But like I said, guys, be safe. Have a great weekend. And you never know when I might pop there and do a rambling with a chaotic mind. Like I said, it's chaotic for a reason. Good night, all.